What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend today. Now, today may be hump day. It might be Wednesday, but let me tell you something. There is a massive crypto catalyst on the horizon, and you're going to want to stick around for this. Now, having a look at what Bitcoin is doing, what a beautiful, beautiful structure we are putting in. We have higher highs on the macro. We have higher lows on the macro, and we've also had some beautiful bounces off of this legacy trend line right here, on top of the fact that we do have, as you guys can see right here, we have the US dollar currency index currently starting to break down. And if the dollar does start to lose some strength, well, we know historically what this means for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, there is a possibility right now that Bitcoin could be setting up for a massively parabolic rally, and this rally could happen incredibly quick. Now, we are sitting currently at 54, right? A little bit neutral in the fear and greed index. But if we do have a look right here, we could see that the last time that Bitcoin was sitting at this exact level, the exact price level that we're sitting at right now, also the exact level that Bitcoin is in fact hitting resistance, you could see that we went from, right where we're sitting right now, $44,000, all the way up 51% to $66,757. And guess what? We did it in just 20 days. So we've done it before right there. Can it happen again for Bitcoin? So that's what we're going to look at today. But I also do want to talk about something that is a little bit scary. There is some crypto news that came out. Some people are a little bit worried about how this could be affecting the overall Bitcoin price in the short term. But that being said, we do have some good news from Canada and Russia. So we're going to get into all that today. You're going to want to stick around. This video is going to be very informative. Make sure you watch it all the way to the end. And I do believe that YouTube is doing a little bit of censorship on crypto videos lately. Not sure what's going on, but a lot of people I've been talking to in the crypto space have been seeing less engagement, less views. I've been seeing it myself. The views are a little bit lower. Doesn't really make sense considering price just pumped. So make sure you turn on those bell notifications so you can definitely make sure you see these videos when they pop up in your timeline. So that being said, let's dive in and let's have a look. So like I said, the DXY is looking like it's starting to break right now. In fact, as I'm making this video, you can see it is also falling right now live in front of our eyes. And the reason that we said this was such an important level was because of this resistance right here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. And, eventually I think if we fall below around 89.55, I think it's going to be pretty catastrophic for the dollar. Now, I did talk about how Bitcoin was able to literally pump 52% in just 20 days. Now look at the significance of this level that we're sitting at right here, right? You could see right here, we had the support. If we come over here, multiple supports over multiple weeks from August 7th in 2021 all the way to September. Actually, it was more than that. It was about 3 weeks over here. And then we could see that right now we did have a little bit of resistance and we are having resistance there again. So there is a possibility. What could we be expecting? Well, if I had to guess, based on this previous price action, what we could most likely see is one more quick dip down. Remember, we do in fact have a CME's futures gap as well. If we actually have a look right here, you can see that we do have this gap that would need to close right here around 40,000, roughly around $40,090, right? So there is that possibility, from where we are right now, what would that take to close it? That would be about a 7 to 8% decrease. I definitely think that Bitcoin could potentially fake some people out. People would be calling, oh, it was just a bull trap. It was just a dead cat bounce. Now we're going to continue on lower. But no, what I actually think is going to happen is we'll come down, we'll retest this level, even if we slightly go below it, down to right around that 39,000, like I said, even $38,000 in the cards. And then I do believe that we could potentially have something like what we saw back here when we broke these levels and we had that insane blast off. And like I said, guys, this can happen a lot quicker than people would anticipate it actually being able to happen. But as you saw, we were able to do it in just 20 days the last time. So you can see again right here, we do have confluence on this resistance. Once again, the bottom of this level sitting at around 39,700. We are in fact in the blue zone and we have broken out of the downwards, the falling wedge pattern. And as I told you in yesterday's video, if you guys didn't see it, this was an incredible coincidence. If we have a look right here, it's not a coincidence. It's just, the markets are, it's kind of a coincidence, right? I mean, they're doing the same exact thing that they did before. It is really, really strange to see this, but we have had, it's like almost a complete double, like they're like, it's funny, like the whales are just doing the exact same thing again that we did down here. And you can see we did have a little bit of a fake out pump right here. People got excited. We came back down. So that is that possibility. You know, we come up here, we do come back down again, retouch this level, put in that double bottom, and then continue to the upside. Everything is happening the same. We have the 50 crossing below both of these moving averages. We have the death cross on the 100 and the 200. We have the death cross on the 100 and the 200. And then we have price springing above the 50, price springing above the 50. And I mean, guys, look at it. It's basically the same exact chart. I mean, look at this. They're so similar. It's insane, right? And the thing is would they actually do the same thing twice? Well, I think most people would think that they wouldn't do the same thing twice. Like most people would be looking at this saying, there's no way that they're going to actually do that again. Do you? I think they would. I think they would do it again because people are not expecting them to do it again. Does that make any sense? Just like people weren't expecting them to do a falling wedge 3 times, there's no way we're going to have 3 falling wedges that all break out to the upside. And guess what? We did. Right? We did. So pay attention, learn how to play their game. And like Tony the Bull pointed out, he says price stopped exactly at the monthly parabolic SNR last month. SAR, excuse me. According to Wikipedia, 17 years of research found that this indicator has a 95% confidence rate. Is this the bottom? Actually, and if you have a look right here, I actually just connected the dots because they're really hard to see. And, you know, you can see that we are, in fact, starting to curve up exactly at this bottom right here. And this has been pretty critical in calling these bottoms and tops, you know. So is there that possibility that that was the bottom? I actually agree and think that that was the bottom. You know, could we see a quick wick down? Of course we could, but ultimately I think the structure has been built, and really interesting data from sentiment that suggests that we could also be looking for a parabolic rally. Keep in mind, I'm still anticipating a quick fake out to the downside before that rally. I don't know if we're going to get it. We might not get it, but I think we're going to get it. I think we're going to get a quick wick down to like 37 or 38, maybe real quick just to freak people out. And then I think we're going to go on a parabolic rally. I could be wrong. We could just go on the parabolic rally, but I think it would be more likely to catch traders off guard, right? We got all the shorts getting liquidated. Then we have everybody going long. Price pulls back. They're scared. They're getting liquidated. Now, nobody knows what to do, right? Which probably has a lot to do with why we are, in fact, in this neutral fear and greed territory. Not a lot of people really know what's going on. But as these guys pointed out, you can see right here, Tether's amount of active addresses are at a 2-year low. And, you know, historically speaking, if you actually look at these levels, look at where the arrows are. So basically, when you have these super low points right here, and, you know, the Bitcoin price is this green line right here, you know, you could see, look at this drop right here, massive bounce. We had, even when you just look at the lower drops in general, this super low, boom, that was the massive run up, and it's essentially mirroring what we're doing right now. Now, like Gypto Crunky points out, you know, he does say, well, look, maybe this isn't as significant because there are a lot of different stable coins, right? I mean, we do have USDC, we have USDT Tether, we have DAI, we have Gemini US dollar. I mean, there's just Binance US dollar. There's so many stable coins you could possibly choose from. Maybe just simply looking at Tether specifically isn't as effective as it used to be, but it is still something that we should pay attention to. But interestingly enough, we are seeing the stock markets essentially having just this sort of sideways price action. I mean, if we actually have a look right now, they are looking, you know, the S&P is looking like it's trying to break back up to this resistance, but, you know, ultimately you're seeing all these different traditional stock people saying, you know, the stock market is going to crash and here's why, and all these different reasons why the stock market has to crash. Meanwhile, while stocks have been going relatively sideways, you know, for the past few weeks, Bitcoin has had an explosive 38% move to the upside. Now, let's talk about a little bit of concerning news. This was actually on the news this morning. It was on Good Morning America. In fact, my dad actually called me up and said, hey, do you see what's going on in the news? And this was the fact that you may have heard about that Bitfinex hack, right? Well, they finally caught the people who were associated with this. So what happened was they eventually moved $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin from this 2016 Bitfinex hack. They moved it all into one wallet. Bad idea, right? And that's how they were able to essentially find who it was. So the U.S. Department of Justice seized $3.6 billion in crypto and arrested 2 suspects connected to the hack. You have Aaliyah Lichtenstein and Heather Morgan were apprehended after federal authorities exercised their ability to follow the money through the blockchain. Now, apparently, as Eric Wall pointed out, they were able to get this by decrypting the file that they had. I guess they saved their private key in the cloud, which I'm not really going to, I probably shouldn't even comment on this, but Yeah, don't save your private key in the cloud, guys. Just saying, write it down on a piece of paper, put it away, whatever. But that's just, what they say you should do. Anyway, long story short, they ended up finding them. They caught them. Now, why is this a scary story? Well, it's not scary because they were able to find the crypto. I mean, obviously, Bitcoin is not anonymous. It's pseudo-anonymous, right? You don't know who owns the wallet, but you can trace Bitcoin. You can find where the money's going, and, you can see that the wallets and the addresses. But what is a little bit scary is sort of the fears of what they are going to do with these funds, right? Now, we know in the past the Department of Justice has essentially just auctioned it off, right? That could be a possibility. But if they do, in fact, intend on giving this back to those people who did have their funds hacked, which I don't even know how you'd be able to, know all of them, but this is the same fear that we've had with the Mt. Gox hack, is essentially what would happen if these people did get back their Bitcoin? Now, considering the price of the Bitcoin at the time of the hack, this was back in 2016, and I believe the funds were like around 76 million or something like that in total. Now, today, as you can see, based on this hack, they're upwards of 3.6 billion. So if these people, hypothetically, we're not saying it is going to happen. They might not even do this. They might just auction it. But if these people were to actually get their funds back, if we look at the amount of Bitcoin this represents, some people saying it's between 1% and 1.4%. I don't really know the exact numbers. Don't quote me on that. But if we were to just, flood all this money back into the crypto space, and these people are realizing that they're up tremendously. In 2016, Bitcoin was, trading between $100 and $1,000, which is insane to even think of. Are these people going to cash out and say, screw this, that's it, retirement, boom? Could this be a crazy market, not capitulation event, but would they sell? I don't know. I don't know what would happen. But this is very similar to the fears that we've been having for years with the Mt. Gox sort of fear. Still hasn't really done anything. And, even having a look at the Bitcoin price today, I mean, this story came out and, having a look at the price right here, we're not really dumping based on this news. Nothing's really happening. In fact, something kind of funny and interesting is that the Leo token, which is actually the token for the Bitfinex exchange, pumped 43% on this news and hit an all-time high, making it the number 26 crypto in the world. Welcome to crypto, guys. Welcome to crypto. Crazy times, crazy things, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Now, speaking of somebody who's been quite uncertain about Bitcoin and crypto, but this is an interesting story, is in fact the chairman of investment strategy at JP Morgan. He says that he was late in recognizing how big cryptocurrency was and how big it was going to grow, but he does want to take a deep dive into it. He said, I did not anticipate the increase in crypto value from 25 billion to 250 billion to 2.5 trillion. And I recognize that I am a little bit late to this. There's a ton of money pouring into crypto and blockchain investments. In fact, he says venture capitalists have been plowing money into crypto at an accelerating pace, rivaling all other innovation categories, around 40%. In fact, you can see right here, based on these charts, it's quite a lot when you compare it to some of the other sectors. And they say crypto adoption is rising across investor types and regions, while institutional ownership has been low to date. It is now growing. So you have Bridgewater Associates estimating that 1 million Bitcoin, around 5% of the issued supply, are now held by institutional investors via custodial intermediaries. But what's crazy is we're talking 5% of the total supply of Bitcoin. We're not talking 5% of all the global investment firms attempting to actually own some Bitcoin. And this is where the numbers get crazy. If we were to capture 5% of all of them, you're talking about a $750,000 price increase on the price of Bitcoin today. So not a $750,000 Bitcoin. You're talking about $750,000 on top of the current price of Bitcoin today. And if you're wondering where I got this math and data from, check out the recent released the special report that came out from Kathy Woods over at ARK Invest. They're the ones that came up with those numbers. I'm just repeating them to you. But, he went on to say, I understand why people are interested in cryptocurrencies with a fixed supply as a store of value. The developed world has drowned itself in debt and fiat money, and at a pace that dwarfs anything seen in the wake of the financial crisis of 2008. I accept the notion that a digital store of value could exist. Bitcoin is beginning to capture a larger subset of store of value investments when compared to the value of gold, although, of course, Bitcoin's volatility is in fact ridiculously high. And just speaking about people who are interested in crypto, who are getting into cryptocurrencies, a new study highlighted the extent of cryptocurrency adoption in U.S. citizens. Now, this was a study done over 2,200 United States adults. I don't know like where they got these people. They don't list it here. It doesn't say the demographic specifically. But this was according to the State of Consumer Banking and Payments. And you can see right here, respondents were asked if they or anyone in their household owned the following. As of December 2021, 24% cryptocurrency. And what's interesting is 23% said certificate of deposit. So certificate of deposit is basically a standard savings account. So now you could see how this is the tables are turning, guys. 24% over 23%. So that means 1% more of households would rather hold their investments, their wealth essentially in something like Bitcoin than trusting it in a bank account, a savings account. Pretty incredible. But obviously brokerage accounts are still leading at 31% with 14% being robo-advisor accounts. But I mean, the fact that cryptocurrency is now the number 2 option, I don't know, guys. Definitely the changing of time. So, getting back to, this guy over here, Michael Sambalis, the JP Morgan strategist. I mean, yeah, what are you waiting for, bro? Buy some Bitcoin, man. Not financial advice. So, big news from Russia and big news from Canada. Let's talk about this. So, the government and central bank in Russia have reached an agreement on how to regulate cryptocurrencies according to a Tuesday announcement, and they are essentially looking to have this come to fruition on February 18th. That's right around the corner. So the government and the Central Bank of Russia are now working on a draft of a law that will define crypto as an analog of currencies rather than digital finance assets, set to be launched, like I said, on February 18th. Cryptos would function in the legal industry only if they have complete identification through the banking system. So what does this mean? Well, Bitcoin transactions and possessions of cryptocurrency are not prohibited, right? However, they must be done through a digital currency exchange organizer. So basically a bank, essentially, right? Or a peer-to-peer exchange licensed in the country. So the report also highlighted that cryptocurrency transactions of more than roughly $8,000 would have to be declared. Otherwise, it would be considered a criminal act. Now, this is no different than, getting paid in cash in the US and not declaring it, right? If somebody pays you cash and you don't report it, well, it's the same thing as getting paid in crypto and not reporting it, right? So this is actually a pretty massive step. I wonder if this is the direction that the US will go in. A lot of people are a little concerned about what Joe Biden is going to be doing, what he's going to be coming out with, what this whole executive crypto order is. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they're not looking to ban Bitcoin. They're not looking to ban crypto. They just want to know how much crypto you own, right? They want to know, who's buying, who's selling. If you're getting paid in crypto, if you're doing a job, right? They want to know. And they just want KYC and essentially, you can say what you want. Of course, I don't know. It's one of those topics where, look, if you live in the United States, if you live in Russia, if you live in these places and you like the country that you live in, and, you're just going to have to deal with the way that they want you to disclose your cryptos. I mean, if they outright banned it, well, then I'd probably have to up and move myself, to be totally honest with you. But I know that that's not what they're going to do. That's not what they're looking to do. At the end of the day, what they're looking to do is essentially just tax it. Let's be honest. They just want their tax money. So big news from Canada, and then let's get on out of here. So we have Canada's TMX Group, the country's largest stock market operator, reportedly planning to launch its first cryptocurrency futures product. Now, keep in mind, they already have 17 crypto exchange-traded funds that are listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, but now they're intending to release the product on the Montreal Exchange this year. And the reason for this is they say more institutional investors and dealers are holding more crypto assets within their portfolios or for their clients. In crypto, there is a lot of price volatility, so they are looking at how to manage that exposure. But ultimately, I think spot is really what we need. These futures products, they're not really doing anything. If they are going to be, I don't know. I don't know what they're planning on doing. They say futures, so I guess futures is cash settled, but then again, they are saying that they're holding some crypto for their clients, so I don't really understand this. I think it's just going to end up being cash settled, but if it turns out to somehow at the end of this be spot settled, that would be massive. That's what we need in the US. We need a spot exchange traded fund. We'll probably get one eventually, but yeah, I mean, just a lot of bullish news, guys. And having a look at, Bitcoin right now, zooming in, having a look. Yeah, it's just kind of hanging out. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. We could just blast through this the same way that we did right here, right? Last time we got to this level, boom. But it was a little bit of a different structure because back in this, we were inside the falling wedge, whereas this falling wedge right here, you know, we had the breakout, but then the resistance became the support, and then we bounced off of that, right? So a little bit different scenario. I do anticipate that we would pull down, you know, because over here, you know, we did go up and come back down and come up, but over here, we have not actually come back down. We haven't closed the CME futures gap, and we haven't retested that support. So I do think we could have one more quick pullback, potentially down to the low 40s, high 30s, and then I do believe it is parabolic peanut butter jelly time for cryptocurrency. Let me know what you guys think about that below, though. Do you think that this is just a fake out? Do you think that this is the real deal? I personally think it looks a lot more bullish than it does bearish right now. I'm definitely still somewhat neutral, but more bullish than I was bearish before. But that being said, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. And if you are looking to trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and a bunch of altcoins, make sure that you watch the tutorials that are about to pop up right here, right now. $8,000 in bonuses if you use the links below. That's it for me. My name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.